Now, since becoming a minimalist, Christmas isn't quite the same. Oh, be careful. It used to be a bad thing, but I am slowly learning to love Christmas again and to find ways either that I can enjoy the excess or ways to celebrate that don't involve a lot of stuff and stress. So let's talk about simplifying and enjoying the silly season. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And Christmas can be a very trying time. You may have a love-hate relationship with it. So let's talk about how you can do less in a season of excess. The very first thing I do every year, and this is crucial if you want to maintain any form of sanity over the Christmas season, you just feel that it's overwhelming with all of the extra stuff, but that is to make some space first. And that could be physical space. So every year we spend some time clearing stuff out, basically, particularly toys, because you know there's going to be new stuff coming in. We have to make space for that. So we donate a lot of stuff before Christmas. We also donate a lot of food to local food pantries, things like that. But it's not just physical stuff, though that definitely helps. It's also, you know, your schedule, not having that packed full of parties and events and things. It is, you know, right down there, it is like decluttering your mindset, any kind of negative thoughts you have, any negative feelings. It's just taking a moment to create that breathing space for yourself. The next thing that I find helpful is to basically find your focus. What is the one thing that you really want to give your time and attention to this Christmas? So for me this year, it is definitely family. My family are coming next week. Fingers crossed, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, a week is a long time. A lot can change in a week, but we're hopeful. But yes, find whatever that focus is for you. So like I said, for us this year, it is family. For you, it may be, you know, the religious aspects of the holiday. It may be that you actually want to spend time alone, you know, that you're sick of everybody and this is your Christmas to just unwind and spend time with yourself. But find your focus first. What is the one thing that you really want to concentrate your energy and your efforts on this year? Because that will help you make decisions. It will help you to not get caught up in all of the excess, and it will help a lot of the additional extraneous stuff to just fall away. Now let's talk about Christmas traditions. And this kind of comes back to this idea of having a focus, but sometimes we do things at Christmas time purely because we feel that we should, or because, you know, we've been doing it, our family has been doing it for years and years, and it's just, she's having a nice little rest for herself down here. And it just kind of feels like a habit, a routine. It's just something that you do at Christmas. But this year really take some time to examine those traditions. What are the things that you would normally do as part of the Christmas season? And do you actually want to do those things? A great kind of barometer, a good test is when you think of that thing, when you think of letting go of that thing, like not doing it this year, do you automatically think, oh, but I love doing that thing? Or do you think, oh, but I do it every year, or, you know, somebody will be annoyed at me if I don't do it. You know, you will probably be able to tell pretty quickly whether or not it's a tradition that you actually want to keep. If you want to learn about our traditions, I do have an old videos from a few years ago where I talk about our Christmas traditions. Not all the kind of typical Christmas traditions. Hello, it's not playtime right now. It's not playtime. Okay. Oh girl. Oh, coming back. Hi. Oh, she's after knocking the camera. Where were you? There? Okay, ish. We already talked a little bit about decluttering your schedule. So now let's focus specifically on any kind of parties or events or obligations that you may have over the Christmas season. Again, you do not want to stuff your schedule. You want to be able to enjoy the festive season and not to be absolutely exhausted afterwards. So choose those parties and those obligations wisely. Like with the Christmas traditions, are they things that you actually want to be involved in? Do you want to take part, or are you only doing it because you feel that you have to? We never attend Christmas parties, and we also limit our visiting of friends and family to 1 or 2 days, which is a great thing to do. Like if you do not want to spread everything out over the Christmas season, pick a time, a weekend, a week, whatever it is that you can do all of that stuff. Try and get it all done in one go if it's not going to completely overwhelm you, but have a kind of designated time frame for doing that sort of stuff so that it doesn't just take over your entire season. Generally for us, or certainly when we lived in Ireland, because we don't have family here in Cincinnati, but when we lived in Ireland, on Christmas Eve, we would visit Sam's side of the family, and then St. Stephen's Day, the day after Christmas, we would visit my family. We always made sure that Christmas Day itself was just a stay-at-home day. It was a family day. It was a day for just us to be together. Okay, now let's talk decorations. I am one of these people that likes all of the lights, all of the tinsel, all of the baubles, just everything. And I had this thing in my head, it was ridiculous really, where I felt like I should be buying a new ornament every year, you know, something to kind of commemorate that year, so that when we looked back, we would know kind of like when we bought a particular ornament, you know, and each ornament would tell a story, blah, 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 blah. But since have moved on from that, thankfully, you know, over the years, I was just starting to feel the pressure of having to decorate everything. And it was just pressure that I put on myself. Total nonsense. So now what we do is we all put up the tree together as a family, and then that's pretty much it. I don't put pressure on myself to get the entire house decorated. Once the tree is up, I basically consider my job done. Now we do kind of put a few extra things up, but generally those are in the kind of days and maybe even weeks after we put up the Christmas tree. Just every now and again we might put up an additional decoration here or there, but I don't pressure myself to get it all done in one day or at all. The most magical thing for me is the tree. So that is the thing that we focus on. And then I kind of just let the other stuff happen as it will. Some stuff does get put out, some stuff doesn't, and I'm okay with that. So for you, figure out like which are the decorations that you really feel are the most important to you, and maybe you feel that you don't need to decorate at all, and that's totally fine. Again, it's one of those things that you feel you should do, but if you really don't want to, you don't have to. I like the tree, I like the twinkly lights and stuff, so that's fun for me. We put that up, but the rest of the house, I can kind of take it or leave it. Another thing we do to kind of make it easier is we have a system for putting up the tree, and I'm sure everyone has the same or a very similar system. You just may not even think about it, but first the tree itself goes up and we fluff it, and we don't spend much time fluffing our tree at all. After that, the lights go on. Our tree is actually pre-lit, but that's not enough lights for me. So we put on hundreds more lights, and they all have to be like different colors and they have to flash and stuff. Yeah, that's me. After the lights go on, then the tinsel goes on, then the baubles go on, and then the star goes on at the top. To me, like the tackier, the better. We also have all of this stuff separated out. So they're all in separate tubs, and they are in clear tubs so that we can easily see what's inside. But it just means that when we're putting up our tree, we just need one tub at a time. So one tub is for lights. We put up the lights and we're done with that tub. We can put it away. Next tub then tinsel, and so on. It just makes the process easier for us. And again, like I said, artificial tree, really the only downside that I see to an artificial tree over a real tree is the smell. And honestly, I could take it or leave it. I mean, it's nice, the smell of a real tree, but it doesn't make or break Christmas for me. Artificial tree, so much easier, like a lot less cleanup for a start. Actually, in our future house, I said this to my husband the other day, I would love to have a little closet off the living room where you could just basically slide the Christmas tree in, and then the next year just slide it back out, all done and dusted. That would be wonderful. I don't know, would it take some of the magic away from decorating the tree? Possibly, but I'm definitely willing to experiment with that theory. Now let's talk about one of the biggest kind of stressors maybe around Christmas, and that is gifts. Listen, I love gifts. I love giving them. I love receiving them. It's a wonderful time. But like I said, over the years as a minimalist, it's becoming a little bit more anxiety inducing. You know, like I spent so long clearing stuff out of the house only for a lot of stuff to just come right back in again. So I'm trying to focus more and more on kind of consumable gifts or kind of usable gifts or experiences. Consumable things, particularly like food items. I do up like little gift baskets or toiletries, things that can be used up, stuff that doesn't necessarily have to hang around in my home. Those are the things that I'm going to be focusing more and more on. But another great way to kind of minimize gifts is to have some idea of what you are going to get people before you go out shopping. Because if you're like me, like you will just go to a store, and if you have no idea what to get anyone, you will just start picking up random stuff. And I find I end up kind of overcompensating almost, and I buy lots of mediocre gifts to try and make up for the fact that I haven't found that one truly special or thoughtful gift. And also be sure to ask for those types of gifts for yourself too. If somebody asks you what you want, tell them, or even if they don't ask, just tell them up front, you know, let them know that you are more interested in an experience gift or in, you know, a toiletry that you use or something like that. That way, not only are you not giving a pile of clutter, but you're also not receiving a pile of clutter. If you can't really think of anything, I do have a video that is full of great ideas for clutter-free gifts. But I also these days try to encourage slower opening of presents. It's really easy, I feel, on Christmas morning to just kind of tear open everything all at once. You know, it's full of excitement, particularly for kids. They just want to like dive in there and see everything that they got. Whereas nowadays, I try and kind of just spread it out a little bit over the morning, maybe even stopping to have some breakfast or have a snack or to call a family member or something like that, so that you're really taking the time to appreciate what you do get. Also, top tip for you, particularly if you have kids, take some time before Christmas to build or put together or assemble anything that requires assembly, because again, Christmas morning is already, it can be a very stressful time. There can be lots of stuff everywhere. And if you really want it to be a relaxing, calm day, that's not the day to be playing with like Allen keys and little spanners and like batteries and stuff. Have all of that stuff pre-built and ready to go. It's going to make your Christmas morning run so much smoother. Also, as happened to us last year, it will allow you time to fix any problems if you do realize that you need batteries or something is broken or missing from the box. This happened to us, like I said, last year. We got something, when we opened it, it was all bent and broken in the box, and then we had time, thankfully, to replace it before Christmas morning rolled around. Now let's talk about the big day itself. Something that really helps, and this is something my dad used to do when I was a kid, and I never understood it at the time, because really when you're a kid, you never understand what your parents are doing, but then you grow up and see the wisdom of their ways. But he used to immediately clear away all of the wrapping paper and ribbon and cards and tape and stuff. And to me, as a kid, I used to think, like, just allow the mess. Just like, let us sit down here and, you know, open all our gifts. You don't have to be like wasting your time cleaning up. Let's just sit here and enjoy all of this stuff. Now though, now I see why that is so important. We've had a few Christmas mornings here where the place has just been in absolute chaos. Just like gift bags, wrapping paper, ribbon everywhere, as well as the gifts. And that for me becomes incredibly overwhelming, incredibly stressful, and incredibly agitating, honestly. So now, props to my dad, he taught me that. Just clean up as you go. For me, the easiest way to do it is to just have one box, and then as the wrapping paper is being ripped off stuff, put everything into that box. So it's still kind of contained, but I still get to stay in the space and spend time with my family, but it's not just like mayhem all around me. We also keep our meal, our Christmas meal, very simple. We don't do like a whole pile of sides or anything like that. We have some form of meat, usually chicken. I'm not a big turkey person. We'll have some form of veg, which I will usually cook. My husband will do stuffing. And that's pretty much it, like potatoes, you know, but we don't have lots of different types of things and sauces and gravies and things. We just keep it very, very simple. And like I said, we all kind of chip in, we all do our part. So it makes that process a lot easier too. And I will say then, you know, kind of going through this Christmas, make a note as you're going. It doesn't have to be like a written note, but even just a mental note of the things that you are enjoying and the things that you're not enjoying, so that next Christmas you can simplify and streamline even more and make it even better for yourself. And then finally, taking a broad view of everything, even if you are finding it stressful, because there are still going to be elements that are a little bit stressful, remember that it is temporary. It doesn't last forever, in a very short amount of time. This will all be done, and then you will get to pack everything up, tidy it all away, you know, put everything back in the attic or the basement, and your home will feel even more tidy and spacious than before. That's a really great feeling. Instead of seeing this as something that you have to kind of get through, you know, a cross that you have to bear, you know, a burden on yourself, see it as something that kind of confirms, reaffirms, and strengthens your beliefs and your interest in pursuing a simpler style of life. Now, if you want to step up your minimalism game in the new year, then you should definitely check out my 30-day decluttering challenge. It is 30 different tasks that you can complete, 30 different things that you can declutter in 5 minutes or less. A really great way to kickstart your decluttering journey. So go check that out, and until next time, go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feicim mé sibh go luath. Slán!